Hola muchachos y bienvenidos a los mandatos. Este es tu video número 5 sobre los mandatos formales. Hoy nosotros solamente vamos a estudiar los mandatos formales. Primero, antes de comenzar, necesitamos explorar qué es un mandato. ¿Qué es un mandato? Mandato is commands. And although in English commands sound really negative, in Spanish we use them all the time. We tell our friends, hey, have a good day. Or we tell our friends, look at this. Or we say, or your parents say, do your homework or clean your room. Or you say, call me tonight. Those are commands. Even though it sounds harsh, everything we do on a daily basis is called we use commands daily. So in English, this is the difference between English and Spanish commands. In English, who you're giving the command to, so in this case, Eric, Zeke, or I can do Zeke and Eric. Who you're giving the command to doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the least in terms of how you communicate that. For example, hey Eric, do your homework. Hey Zeke, do your homework. Zeke and Eric, do your homework. It doesn't change. And it kind of, let me show you who's here. Say hi, Zeke. Zeke's eating his lunch. Eric, say hi, Eric. Eric's playing something over there. They're waiting for their mama to be done. They're going on iFunny. All right. So in English, who we are giving the command to doesn't matter. In Spanish, it absolutely does. Who you're giving the command to changes the conjugation of the verb. Okay, so in English and in Spanish, you can give a command to your friend. You familiar. You're giving a command to your buddy, to your pal, to your next door neighbor. You can be giving a command to your mom. I know it sounds harsh, but you can say, hey mom, make me a sandwich. It's a command. It's command form. Or you can give it to a group of people. Y'all. Or in the Midwest, we say you guys. So there's 3 forms of commands. We can do a tú command, an usted command. That's the formal. That's your grandmother. That's someone deserving of your respect, a police officer, a teacher, or a group of people. Hey, y'all. Okay, that 3 different forms. There are 3 steps, and today we are only focusing on these guys. These guys are called the formal commands. Okay, so how do you go about conjugating a formal command? There's 3 steps. The first one is you go to the yo form in the present tense, and as Spanish 3 students, I, as a teacher, assume that you know how to conjugate in the yo form. Then you drop the O at the end and you switch the vowel. We're going to practice this a little bit, so don't worry. For example, you go to the yo form. Hablar is the
Hablo.
Hablo. Comer is
Como.
como. Pedir is pido. Again, as a Spanish 3 teacher, I assume that you know that pedir is an E to I stem changer. I'm not teaching you that. I assume you know that. My only steps are 1, 2, 3. Go to the yo form, drop the O, and then this is my symbol for switch the vowel. Okay? So dormir. What is dormir going to be? Z.
What?
Duermo.
Duermo.
Duermo. Why? Because it's an O to U-E. Jugar. Juego. Okay? What do you do with that then? First step was go to the yo form. Second step says drop the O. Okay? So I'm going to drop the O. Here's me dropping the O. Drop the O. And then my third step says switch the vowel. What the heck does switch the vowel mean? Switch the vowel means if it's an AR verb, you are going to use ER and IR endings. But if it's an ER or an IR verb, you are going to use AR endings. Okay, so hablar, it's an AR verb, so hablé is going to be my usted command. For example, with the name, step number 1 is go to the yo form. Then go. Again, I assume you know how to do that. Tengo, pongo, salgo, all of those guys. Step 2 says drop the O. Step 3 is switch the vowel. Well, the verb tener is an ER verb. I told you if it's an EAR, you use ER and IR and vice versa. So because it's an ER verb, it's going to be tenga. Okay? So my usted command for have a good day is going to be tenga un buen día. Tenga. My ustedes command, and you guys know this, all third person plural conjugations are going to end in an N. So my ustedes command, so this is, you're going down the hallway and you see Miss Fairhead and you say, hey, have a good day. You're going to say, tenga un buen día, señorita Fairhead. Or you're going to say, hey, y'all, have a good day. And you're talking to a group of people. This is y'all. Tengan un buen día. Okay? The other thing that you have to worry about is the cars are gars. Any verb that ends in the CAR, ZAR, or GAR. Because look at what happens to this. If you go to the yo form, it's busco. If I drop the vowel, drop the O and switch the vowel, it's an AR verb, so I go to E. Listen to this. Busé. Busé. Now we have a soft consonant here, where my original verb was a harsh consonant. Buscar. K. How do I preserve that sound? You guys saw this in the preterite. You saw it in the preterite when we were trying to preserve these very same sounds. So, how do you preserve it? Busque. So if you're trying to tell your mom, Mom, look for my football shoes. Busque mis zapatos de fútbol americano. Or you're trying to tell your brothers and sisters, look for the remote. Busquen. Again, y'all. It's a group of people. Busquen. Abrazar, it does the same thing that it did with the preterite. You guys remember this from last year. Abrace. The Z changes to a C. And the same thing happens with GARs. Ye, ge. So we have CAR changes to QU, ZAR changes to C, and then GAR changes to GUE. We'll talk about commands with pronouns later, because it just so happens that when we're talking commands, you say, hey, look at that. That is a pronoun. Or you say, look for it. It is a pronoun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine the commands with the bundles of bushels of baskets, and we'll do that in our next video. So talk to you later. Bye-bye. Adios. Perdona muchachos, pero hoy es jueves. Hoy es jueves, son las 8:30 de la mañana. Yo necesito incluir un poco más de video porque anoche a mí se me olvidó es to forget, a mí se me olvidó incluir los verbos irregulares para los mandatos. Estos verbos son los verbos los verbos ¿por qué? Recuerda, tú tienes 3 pasos, 1, 2, 3, 3 pasos. El primer paso es buscar la forma yo. El segundo paso es eliminar la O. Entonces, piensa. ¿Cuál es la forma yo de ser? ¿Cuál es la forma yo de ser? La forma yo de ser es soy. Es número 1. Número 2, quita la no tengo una O. No tengo una O. Entonces, ¿qué hago? What do I do? ¿Qué hago? También, ir, voy. voy. Oh, no tengo una O. Doy, estoy, sé. Yo no sé. I don't know. Yo no sé. Oh, no hay una O. Y a ver, entonces, when life gives you lemons, what do? You make lemonade. Or in this case, when you hit these, soy, doy, when you hit these, what you have to do is you have to cha-cha. What does that mean? What does that mean? Write these down. Ser becomes sea. Ir becomes vaya. Dar, de. Estar, esté. Saber, sepa. And haber, haya. Okay? So here's the trick.